So Jenny, you have a new book out about Barack Obama's mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, and people don't know very much about her beyond what the president himself has written about her. So what should people know about her?
Well, you're right. People think of her as simply the white woman from Kansas. That's about it. In fact, she lived an extraordinarily interesting and complicated life. A woman who at a very young age married an African at a time when there were laws in 24 states against interracial marriage. She became an anthropologist. She was something of a pioneer in the field of microfinance.
To the extent that people have really thought about her, they tend to think about whether she was a good mother or not a good mother. And I think that says a lot about our sense of mothers, given that he had an absent father.
Yes, she was not the orthodox model of a mother. She took her son abroad at age 6 to a country that was in great upheaval. She sent him back alone at 10 from Indonesia to Hawaii. She really made some decisions that many Americans find difficult to swallow. These were complicated decisions, as you might understand. As you might imagine, juggling the very questions that many of us juggle: how to make a living, how to get a decent education, how to get a good education for your child when you're living in a place where the schools are terrible.
Now, you write in the book that it's striking sort of the similarities between them and the dissimilarities between them, Barack Obama and his mother. So how were they alike? How are they not alike?
As he described her himself to me, he described her as quite disorganized in a way that spilled over in his childhood.
Right.
He is clearly the opposite.
Absolutely.
She lived as an expatriate. He made a decision to root himself in Chicago. There are many ways that they are both brave in a similar way, and yet they deviate in other choices.
And so what was it like to go talk to the president himself about his mother?
I hadn't really even known if he was going to talk to me, but he did agree to, and I was struck by how frank he was. He was very comfortable talking about her. He spoke about her with both love and affection, but a certain kind of critical distance, as though he were now able to see her at a remove, almost as though this was a person who had caused him a certain amount of pain as a child, which he acknowledged.
Yeah, he seemed sort of highly processed about his parenting.
It did seem that way. He said he would not have wished that she behaved differently or that he'd had a different childhood, because the underlying fact was that she loved him so much and she had such confidence in his gifts that it gave him the kind of stability and strength of character that he believes underlies a lot of his cool and self-confidence that many Americans find so mysterious.
In the process of doing this book, what was the thing about her that most surprised you?
Everything. I mean, I never imagined that an American president would have a mother who had done the things that she did. She really makes us question many of the assumptions we have about what's the right way of doing things or the wrong way, because after all, she did produce a president.